Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Like Kid says, happy Tuesday. It's been a pretty good Tuesday so far. It's nice and warm outside. Pretty nice weather except for there's like some intermittent storms and stuff like that. So hopefully none of that bothers my internet connection because I know here in Kentucky notoriously whenever there's a storm my internet goes out. But I think we're clear now, and it was pretty clear during the day. So hopefully, and we'll see. You may be wondering what we're working on tonight. Great question. Well, here I'll just show you. So I had this square piece of wood, sorry, square piece of paper. Picked it down to the wood, and then I found these pens that I had. I don't know how much ink there are in them, but they're all color pens and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try like a color pen ink drawing mostly. I do have some colored pencils here to fill in some of the non-ink areas, and of course I've used watercolor as well. But we're gonna create an eye. I think it's gonna look cool when it's all said and done. This is like a little fun exercise. We don't always have to create masterpieces here. Sometimes it's good just to practice basics, and if you are drawing basically anything of value, it's going to have an eye to it mostly. If you're doing portraits of people, dogs, whatever, you're going to be drawing an eye. So it's always nice to revisit some of the old stuff that sometimes we forget about. So I'm just going to jump right in. Yeah, it's Happy Taco Tuesday as well. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to jump right in, and you guys can follow along and chat with me as much as you guys want. I'm going to use this. Like I said, I don't know if these pens have much ink in them. I tried one earlier, it did, but I don't know if all of them do. So I'm just going to start with this blue pen just to kind of outline this eye a little bit better. I do have like obviously a lot of black pens and stuff, which I will probably be using. Like I said, I have the colored pencils, but I want to like rely on those sparingly. I want this to be mostly ink and watercolor. So anyway, I think this will be fun. If you guys haven't seen it, most of you guys probably have. I posted a video over the weekend of some horse competitions that are going on here in Kentucky, which is always exciting. Be sure to check that out if you get a chance. Hey Tom, how's it going? We got because I can, because I can. That's a joke. Some of my jokes aren't all that funny. I know, I recognize. It's okay. You guys don't come here for the comedy, you guys come here for the art, right? No, you guys just come here for the food talk. I know how it is. All right. So I think, yeah, this is all going to be black, I think. So I will come back to that. I think like a little bit of a line down here. I do like drawing in colors and stuff other than just black and white. I think this is going to be kind of cool from that aspect. Again, I don't really know what to expect. I don't draw much in ink, so it's sometimes good, sometimes it's not. Art, food, and treasure talk. There you go. Well, hopefully you guys supplied the treasure talk because I have not been following it, other than periodically checking in on the Discord server to see that there is a Finbury going on in August, which is kind of cool. Um, my understanding is that Shiloh will be there. Oh, that's a nice red. I mean, yeah. I like these pens. If they hold up, like I said, these are super old. I don't know how old they are, so I don't know how much ink is in them. If they hold up, I might do some more drawings with these. This is kind of cool. Neat. All right, cool. So just confirming that that one works. All right, I am going to go ahead and kind of like map in some black areas here just so that I know where things are. Let me find a decent pen for that. These are all too small. Where's my 8 pen I always use? I'll just use this one. So I want to. But yeah, I just had the square paper and I'm like, what could I use with this? I think that, basically anything that looks good on Instagram looks good in square format. and did a lot of eyeballs on Instagram. I don't know. Like I said, sometimes you want to go back to the classics. Drawing an eye is pretty standard when it comes to art. I also considered drawing a hand, but I'm not very good at drawing hands, so I just decided not to. Hey, Kinsley, how's it going? You're not late. You're right on time. We're just drawing an eyeball tonight. Like, hopefully it'll turn out really cool, and it'll be a cool eyeball. I just like sketching sometimes. Like I said, you don't always have to create like a masterpiece of art. Sometimes it's nice just to draw, doodle, as they say. Anybody can do this kind of stuff, like when they're just sitting in school or do like in a meeting at work or something like that. Just doodle away. All right. This is where I'm going to kind of combine a little bit of white pencil just to kind of get some of my white back in here. And I think I will cap that off. Some white gel pen. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but it'll get there. So what's new in everybody's world? How you guys doing? You guys enjoying the spring? I know some parts of the country it's still like, spring is kind of still cold and stuff. Hopefully it's not too bad where you guys are. Let's go with this color here. Yeah, so I'm going to use some of the color pencil to get some color in here, but then I think I'm going to go back over it with ink so that it has that kind of inkish texture to it. And also, I can't really rely on colored pencils too much because this is a textured paper because it's like watercolor paper. So you'll end up seeing a bunch of texture anyway if you don't kind of compensate for that. Like you can kind of see it already, but just yeah, Geppetto's sitting fancy. Tom's saying it's starting to warm up here. Nice. I thought you were in California, Tom. Isn't it always like warm there? Like you guys don't have seasons. Maybe I got that wrong. So I'm going to use this to kind of get some more shadow up in here. Yeah, I was thinking about that horse show video I did, and I really enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. Like I'm not very good at like storytelling, like splicing all this stuff together. The problem is I get all these videos, and I come back and I need to like make sense of it, make a story out of it, or some sort of like cohesive narrative or something like that. And it never really works. For one, I do like a voiceover after the fact, and then also I'm talking on the video. So like there's two totally different tones going on. It just doesn't really work well. But I don't know. As long as you guys don't care that I'm not really a master like video editor, I don't care. We had rain over the weekend and low 60s. It's cold. Yeah, that's shorts weather around here. Low 60s is nice. It was 70 today and it was too hot for me. I'm like, this sucks. Um, I like to go for walks like when the weather's nice and even though it rained today, there was like this bit where it wasn't so bad. And I went for a walk and it was a little warm. I'm not used to 70-degree weather yet. I like it when it's in the 60s. To me, that's a nice, cool springtime weather. Got this toy llama. I want to say llama. Got this toy llama yesterday for my puppy coming in May. Nice. It's gonna be bigger than her. She'll outgrow it. That's cute though. That's cool. She's gonna shred that like the first week, especially if it's a puppy. She's gonna shred it. All right. Now that I got some nice black in, let me get some color over that. I know you can't really see because of the lighting in here, but it's important to kind of blend that in with the rest of everything. So I'm going to lay some color over it. Really kind of burnish that in because of the texture of the paper. I like drawing eyes because it's like a little world unto itself. So like if you can draw an eye, you can draw the planet Earth. Or if you can draw an eye, you can draw somebody's face because of the contours of the face and the colors in that. Um, if you can draw an eye, you can draw any kind of spherical object. So like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some cool circle things that you can draw. Definitely the planet Earth, just planets in general. Like say you want to do like a cool sci-fi scene. All right, so I like this so far. It's starting to look cool so far, but I need some warmth in there. So like one of the things I like to do with color, I'm not very good at color theory, but I have been on this kick where I try to balance warm and cool colors. Um, so anytime I've got, so it's very cool now, and I kind of want it to be cool on this side and kind of warm up on the other side. But in the eye itself, I want there to be some nice warm colors as well. So if you ever want to create some visually interesting stuff, the easiest, the cheapest thing to do, by cheapest I mean is like costs you nothing to do it, is I don't mean like in terms of art supplies, I'm saying in terms of effort. Um, Create contrast. That is the easiest way to create visual interest. And there's many different ways you can create contrast. One is like you can have a lot of darks and light areas. So like darker areas over here going into light, that creates visual interest because of contrast. Um, Warm and cool colors next to each other also create contrast. So it's just a little easy way to introduce like some cool visual elements into your art. And again, like I said, costs you nothing in terms of effort. I'm gonna get some yellow in here. But I don't know where this person is. They could be like they could be in like a big colorful room or something like that, and they're just like, or maybe out in nature or something like that, and they're reflecting the environment. I don't know. I don't usually work with colored pencils these days. Like you guys have noticed that I work with pastels a lot. So it's a lot of fun to kind of go back and revisit some of these old mediums that not old, but some of these familiar mediums that I don't use all that often. Especially since I know that a lot of people on YouTube do use colored pencils. So this one's for them. Kinsley says, I'll post a size comparison when I get her because I'm 99% sure she's going to be smaller than a toy llama. I keep wanting to say llama because of tortillas. Anyway, um, so I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, I think, about how I'm an adult, but I still have toys, right? So I still have like Star Wars toys. And one of the ones I have is like a an AT-AT, and it is funny because I have a photo of my dog. Maybe I'll post it. I have a photo of my dog Guinness when he was a puppy, and the AT-AT is like the same size as him, and it's kind of funny because side by side it looks like he's next to a mechanical dog, and it's funny because I know there's no context to this story, so like you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but for me it was so funny because like he actually thought it was a dog, and he's like sniffing it, like, what's this thing in the house? There's just a toy at it. Speaking of which, May the 4th is coming up. It's Star Wars Day, so that's kind of cool. Right around the corner. Andor is on Disney Plus. I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers, but I really love season one of Andor. Um, if you guys are into Star Wars at all, that is some good Star Wars. Um, Probably some of the best Star Wars. Like, I don't know. Different people like different things. Like if you like the lightsabers and the, flying ships and all that stuff. Well, there's some flying ships in Andor, but there's no lightsabers. I don't think. I don't remember any Jedi in that show. But Um, there's like a lot of spy intrigue stuff. So like if you're into that kind of stuff, Andor is definitely the show for you. It's really cool. It kind of like tells the story behind the rebellion and how the rebellion started. So I don't know. If you're a big nerd like I am, you get into that kind of stuff. I don't know if like general audiences care about that kind of stuff, but I do. Like, how did the rebellion start? Just some of that good old Star Wars backstory. It's just a kind of space spy thriller, really. It's a good way to look at it. During the Finn thing, if I would read things with accents from around the country amid it. I don't know if I can do that. Like, I have tried to do British accents. The only ones that I can do is I can do a really bad, like, I will not do it here because I'll get canceled, like, Indian accent. Like, not Indian as in Native American, but Indian as in India. Kind of sounds like a poo from The Simpsons, and I think that's a big no-no nowadays. Um, I don't mean anything by it. I like Indian people. I work in tech, so like a lot of the tech support is from India, call centers and such like that. But I don't know. That's the only accent I can do. Um, I've tried like a British accent. I can't really do that. I can do a redneck accent. I that's basically all of my relatives, so obviously I can do that. I made a whole show about that one time. All right, so I like that. I want some more specks in the eyes. So I'll come back to this more later. I just wanted to kind of get something in there for you guys to look at while I work on some of these other features. But I wanted like a little bit of sparkle up in this eye as well. I'm gonna add those. One thing that you have to do, you have to remember. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but I'll say it anyway. The eye is a reflective surface. It is glassy. Um, it is spherical. You got to remember that. Um, yeah, I should probably talk about the anatomy of the eye a little bit. So one of the things that a lot of people don't think about, like new people, like people who are just getting started, one of the things that people don't think about is how much of a sphere the eye actually is. So like they'll draw like a football and then they'll draw a circle in it. You got to remember that the eye is actually three-dimensional, right? So like this pupil is like underneath this area out here, and this area here is like convex over it. So the eye itself is concave, and the lens over it is convex. I think that's right. Um, so there's like a couple of layers going on in there that you have to kind of describe with your drawing. And it's not like it's terribly difficult to do, but you just got to remember that there's like at least three layers. So you have like the empty black space here, right? Then you have the retina. That's the second layer. And then a third layer is the lens that goes over it. But then along the sides here, that's kind of inset as well. And then definitely up here, you've got the shadow of the eyelid. So, there's a lot going on there that you have to remember. So, but anyway, we've got that in there. So we'll come back to that after I get some of this other stuff done. But wanted to bring this side over and out a bit. I do like drawing in pen. I don't do it as often as I'd like to, but it is a fun medium. It is unforgiving, but you can work with it and respond to errors. It's not like you can erase it or anything like that, but you can work around it and kind of like make it look like you didn't mean it, mean the mistake. So here I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of a shadow coming across here, and then I'll kind of blend that into the rest of the eye here in a minute. Spanish speaking accent was the most revealing. I can't really speak in Spanish. I took 2 years of Spanish in school, but I don't remember a lot. I remember some things, but not really. It's like if somebody else was speaking Spanish, I could probably pick up a little bit of what they're saying, um, but not enough to where like I'm fluent or would be able to understand a full conversation. I was rather proud of myself. So one phrase I remember because I always thought it was funny that like I remembered it is I remembered how to ask where the bathroom is, right? Because I always figured if I ended up in like Mexico or something like that, and that's probably one of the most important things I would need to know is like, where's the bathroom, right? So, ¿Dónde está el baño? Is how to say that, I believe, unless somebody comes in and corrects me. Um, but I was rather proud of myself. I was at Comic Con no less, and I was looking for the bathroom because they had rebuilt the convention center here in Lexington, and they they moved everything around, so I didn't really know where the bathroom was, and I was like, man, I need to use the restroom and stuff. So I asked the only person who was around, and it was a janitor, and he gave me a look, and I don't remember if he said I don't speak English, or if he kind of implied it some other way and stuff, but he didn't speak English, right? So uh, I felt very proud of myself that I was able to ask, "Where's the bathroom?" in Spanish, and he pointed it out to me. So I guess he knew what I was saying. And that was so cool to me because like that was the first time I actually communicated with somebody in a foreign language, which I don't get the opportunity to because I'm not like bilingual or anything like that. I just remember a few phrases. But that was the first time I ever talked to an actual Spanish speaking person and conveyed, we communicated. I thought that was kind of cool. I know it's kind of dumb. Um, and it's like there's people out there who talk to other people in other languages all the time. So like they're all like, Jeremy, that's stupid. People do that all the time. It's not a big deal. But to me, it was a big deal. I thought it was cool. Because like I was like, well, if I ever end up in Mexico or something, I think I'll be able to manage. Be like, "Donde está el border?" so I can get home. I don't know. I don't think I want to be in Mexico right now, but I'm just saying, like, it's on my bucket list. Like, probably if I lived near Mexico, I would probably go and visit, even now. But like right now, I don't want to travel that far and then end up having to come home for some reason. So a lot of shadows in the eye, combined with the pen and the black colored pencil here. I think it looks pretty nice. I think I'm gonna. What is this? Get some. So I don't really want to go too much over the watercolor. I kind of want the watercolor to stand alone, but because he's like, I don't remember a single word of Spanish except for thank you or you're welcome and hi. Yeah, like I mean, I took 2 years of it in school. Like when I was in school, I went for Spanish one and then I think Spanish two I flunked. I don't remember. But I was in there, twice. I should have learned more than I did, but the problem is it's retention. It's not really what you learn. I probably learned enough to like pass tests and stuff at the time, but it's all about like retention. If you don't use something and you don't perceive it as important, um, you do forget it. That is something that I have learned over time that the only way you really retain something is if you practice it, which is kind of what I keep talking about here on this art show. It's like you keep practicing the art. You don't really forget how to draw, but it is a muscle. In fact, there's muscle memory in your fingers. Um, so you practice just so that you build up that skill and you also don't lose that skill. They say like you'll never forget how to ride a bike. That's probably true, but this isn't bike riding. This is art. Art is special. I don't know. Nice little there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool so far. Drawing eyes are fun. There's so much. I mean, like we look at each other's eyes. It is something that's like built into us. We were trained to look at eyes. Like if you ever want to like draw a picture where everybody's like, "Oh, that looks cool" and stuff, draw an eye or a puppy. People love puppies. There's a reason I do the pictures I do here on this show. And it's like people love puppies, people love eyes. Give the people what they want. Random question: does anyone have remedies for neuropathy in feet? No, I don't know what I'm not 100% sure what neuropathy in feet is. Is that like a numbness in the feet? Trying to guess from the context. Neuropathy would be like a. I can look it up if you want me to, but otherwise I have no idea. Um, Neuropathy, I would think, is nervous system. So I'm going to guess nerve damage. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, neat. I knew I would get there. I'm not that smart, but I can, I get there eventually. I joke about that all the time. It's like I am not the quickest. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the sharpest person. I always believe that if I am the smartest person in the room, I'm probably standing in the wrong room. I should probably go somewhere else. I have a story about that. Like in high school, I took biology class and I didn't like it. I don't know. I'm not dumb. I mean, I could pass the class and stuff like that, but I had no interest in school, and I was just a loser, and I had no interest in school, and I had no interest in passing. I had no interest in being there. Like my sophomore year, I skipped mostly every Monday and Friday. I was just not a very good student. Um, I have since learned to appreciate education. I'm all about education now, but at the time I was just not having it. I was like one of those moody little angsty emo kids. Um, and it's like so anyway, I just didn't show up, and that's why the reason why I didn't pass biology class. So the funny thing about it is the next year I I get my schedule, and sure enough, not only do I have biology again because they need me to pass it, to go on, but I have the same teacher, the exact same teacher in my biology class. I forget her name now, but anyway, she was always nice. I didn't hate her or anything like that. I just didn't want to be at school at all. So anyway, they gave me the same biology class. I think I told the story before, but so if you remember, I'm sorry. But they uh they gave me the same biology class, same teacher and everything like that. So where I failed biology the previous year, I almost had to take summer school. Where I failed it the previous year, I'm getting straight A's now, right? So like on my second try at this biology class, I'm getting straight A's, and the reason why is because some of that information that she was talking about in year one, it kind of sinks in. I don't have like a photographic memory, but I do kind of have when something sticks, I can almost see it in my mind, right? So I could still see her overhead displays and all that stuff. And I'm just sitting there passing every single test and like getting straight A's and stuff like that. So they start thinking like, oh, this guy's super smart, right? So they're like, he's in the wrong class. We need to pull him out of biology class and put him in advanced chemistry. And I'm like, what? I'm only getting straight A's because I failed the year before. So they put me in advanced chemistry, and of course I start failing again because I'm like, this is too hard. I'm not into it. Whatever. Um, but I always just thought that was funny. Anyway, my point is, if I to bring it back around, I always felt that like if I am the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. But in that case, like I was the smartest guy in the room just because I had taken the class before. And it's not really a fair assessment. Anyway, sorry. Kinsley says, "I love this eye. Sometimes I wish my eyes were blue." There's a song about that. Yeah, like I wish I've got brown eyes. I wish my eyes were blue too. Like blue or green, just something more interesting. But I think brown is the most common. There's nothing wrong with brown. Don't get me wrong. Um, I'm just saying I sometimes wish I had something more interesting as well. But yeah, this is looking pretty cool. Hey, Lorraine's in the house. You diabetic, BIC, or back problems, try a muscle rub like an icy hot. That makes sense. Doc says it's because I quit drinking. Yeah, see, there's the problem. Just don't quit drinking. I'm joking. I am joking. If if alcohol is bad for you, give it up. Um, I I don't even drink like when I'm not on this show. I occasionally I'll go to a pub or a bar or something like that, or I'll drink with other people. But most of the time, I'm only drinking on the show. Between the occasional bourbon glass I have while drawing art, which is kind of weird because like I do kind of associate drinking with art now. So like it'd be kind of weird to do art when I'm not drinking just to see if I have like withdrawals. Um, but between the bourbon I have while on this show and coffee, those are my only two real vices. I've given up everything else. I used to smoke, but like a long time ago, like years and years ago. Um, I gave that up. I actually exercise now. I try to eat healthier. I don't eat junk food. Well, I eat junk food. I just eat less of it, and I really try to participate in life a little bit more than I used to. You know, just wasn't fun anymore. Yeah, that's most of life, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you that. Yeah, there's a point when life just isn't as much fun. But art's fun. I love everybody's like trying to figure it out. Got to get the blood flow to the feet. Yeah, that's probably, if it's nerve related, like unless the doctor told you different. If it's nerve, just guessing. If it's nerve related, I would guess as well. It's probably like a blood flow thing. I know that whenever I felt like numb, like my foot went to sleep or my leg went to sleep. What is something that would get blood flowing more like a home remedy kind of thing? I don't know. Don't know. I wish I knew. That's something I like. I think if I had an option of being a doctor or being a lawyer, I would probably rather be a lawyer just because nobody's life is on the line. But I always respected that. My brother was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, so he's always into like the medical stuff. I I wouldn't want that kind of responsibility. Also, I did fail biology class, in case that wasn't clear. I probably should not be responsible for people's health. This is not a health advice show. Do not take anything I say as any kind of like medical advice or suggestion or anything like that. Um, you know, I would probably make a joke that's art related and say, eat crayons or something, which is probably actually you probably could eat crayons now that I think about it. Don't eat crayons. That's bad advice. But I think you could eat crayons and get away with it because they're non-toxic. They're wax. People used to eat wax, or people still do eat wax. I don't know. Do not eat crayons. I am sorry I suggested that. I don't know what's wrong with me. But if you're really, really starving, like zombie apocalypse or something like that, you can probably get away with eating crayons. I have a whole box of crayons. I'm not gonna eat them. There's probably like bad dyes. I don't know. It says non-toxic on the box. Not that I'm into eating crayons. I should probably make that clear. This is the internet. I forget these things are permanent. I need to watch what I say. Like 10 years from now, I'll be like having a conversation about crayons, and somebody will be like, "Yeah, I thought you could eat them. You said you could eat them." I am not saying that. Do not, do not, do not like go out there and eat crayons, get sick, and blame me. Hmm. It is kind of fun to work with colored pencils because, like I said, I don't do that all that often. I'm usually a pastel person. Both are fun mediums. It's just for me, it seems like a lot more work to blend these colored pencils. I mean, it may be because I'm using watercolor paper as well, and those it's textured, but I don't know. I do kind of like it. One of the things I like about colored pencils is there's no like there's no like after work that you have to do. Like I could take this and like put it in an envelope and mail it off to somebody and not worry about it being damaged in shipping or anything like that, or being warped or any of that. It's kind of like a wax based medium, so it could potentially melt in transit, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about it getting smudged or anything like that. With pastels, you do have to kind of worry about that kind of stuff. And you want to take extra efforts to make sure that it gets preserved. Which, you know, pastels are pretty friendly as well because, like, really, you kind of embed the pastels into your picture. There are some caked on bits and stuff that might kind of wear off. You could use like fixin and things like that. People do that. Best advice is just put it behind glass and you're good. Or like when transporting it, sandwich it between, was it glassine paper? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Sandwich it between, you know, protector paper. All right, so this is looking pretty good so far. We've got, I mean, these aren't eyelashes, but they're the start of them. Just kind of blend this stuff in. I'm not like I don't know anything about makeup. Women know makeup way more than me, but like I don't know if this makes it look a little bit gothy or not. I don't know. One of the things that I enjoy about doing art, to be honest, is that I don't know anything about anything. And when I look at something like, I don't know, like an eyeball or something like that, I start making observations about it and then I start learning about it. So to me, this is kind of like education um, in a sense, you know? So like I'm learning from making observations. And I mean, it's science, you know, that's how science works. So I'm looking at my reference picture and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting that the eye does that. And that's kind of interesting that it causes this shadow. It's kind of interesting that it causes this particular um, structure. And, you know, of course, from there, I have to like translate that to my own art. But, you know, like if somebody had asked me without me ever looking at an eye, now, of course, I've looked at plenty of eyes in my life. But if somebody asked me to describe the eye from memory, I probably get it wrong. You know, I mean, I've done enough eyes that I would probably get it mostly right. But describing the anatomy of the eye, just from memory and stuff, I would probably get it wrong. But sitting here making these observations while I'm doing the work and stuff, it's kind of interesting to me. You know, I encourage that aspect of art for people. Um, you know, if you want to learn about the human body, draw the human body. You know, sorry, it's it's a very smart and enjoyable and rewarding way to learn. You know, so if you ever wanted to become a doctor so that you can help because of Can out with this foot problem, um, start drawing. Start drawing feet. I'm not sure. Like I could probably count on one hand how many feet I've drawn in my life. It is like if I draw a foot, it's probably inside of a shoe of some type. And the most I've ever done with feet is I don't know. I have drawn some bare feet people now that I think about it, but it's so super like simplified that they might as well not be feet. They might as well be like split toed shoes. Like, you know, like ninjas wear split toes shoes. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Ninjas have special shoes, so they're like you know, they're split-toed. I don't know why that is, but they do. I'm all about ninjas. Ninjas are cool. If you don't like ninjas, you're on the wrong channel. I should draw a ninja. Ninjas are awesome. I wanted to be a ninja when I was a kid. I don't want to beat anybody up, but I want to do all that cool, like sneaking around thing, play with swords and stuff. There was a cool exhibit at the art museum in Cincinnati. I want to say 2 years back, where they had like samurai swords on display, like not just samurai gear, but the swords and stuff. I'm totally into that. I love that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's for gripping with their big toe. Yeah, I figured it was like some sort of like thing like that. But you see, like other martial artists wear them as well. So I don't know if it's like for climbing walls or like whatever ninjas do. I don't know. When I was in high school, the nurse was checking everyone's feet and told me they could be a foot model. Told you could be a foot model. That's nice. I bet you could be a foot model there. I couldn't be. I have flat feet. They I have to wear I have to wear shoes that have like strong arches to them and like you know, good ankle support and stuff. It is what it is. Feet. All right, I'm gonna get a few lashes in here, even though I don't really want to spend a lot of time on lashes right now. I just want to get some in. I'm gonna switch to a smaller. I don't trust this. That's a brush, and I don't trust it. Even though like I want to come back to it. I'll come back to it to do like some of these base bits, but I feel like I can be more loose with this. So thinner one. Then I will get crazy here because the reference picture I'm looking at, this person has really crazy lashes. They're like all over the place. Lashes are hard for me to do because like while they're pretty random, they're like all over the place and stuff like that. There is like there's too much and there's too little, you know. There is a you still have to get it right, even though it's not like a tree. You know, a tree you can draw like leaves and branches and stuff, and they go pretty much anywhere because like nature is just sort of completely random, and nature loves variety. So trees you can really get away with just like being crazy with it, but eyelashes I feel like it's a little tougher. I always struggle with it. That said, I'm probably getting better at it over time. Eyebrows too. Like eyebrows are definitely tough for me. Like women spend so much time on their eyebrows, like getting them just right and everything, and then you go off and screw them up with your bad drawing. I feel bad. I feel bad for everybody's drawing I've ever done. I apologize. I try really hard. That's the best I can say. All right, so I got a bit of an eyebrow or eyelash going on there. All right, now I need to switch back to a smaller one because I need to go back in the other way. Not anymore. Like feet don't change over time, do they? Like I'm trying to think. Like feet are probably the last thing to like really like change over time. Now that I think about it, like I don't know. You get wrinkles in your hands, you get wrinkles in your face and stuff. I think feet pretty much stay the same. I don't know. That's my observation. That's my bad observation. You're getting all kinds of bad advice from me tonight. I don't know what I'm talking about at all about anything. You should definitely not accept my art advice. Calluses and dry, yeah. Well, it's good that you walk a lot. That's good. Um, I've got this. So, like, I think I started on Easter. I went for a bike ride, and I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't very far. It's not like I was trying to get anywhere. I just, went for a bike ride, just enjoyed the nature and stuff like that. And I kind of enjoyed it. I think I went for like 4 miles, which isn't much. If you're a biker or a bike rider, I don't know, cyclist. There you go. Sorry, not a biker. Biker's motorcycle. If you're a cyclist. Um, 4 miles probably isn't anything, but for me, it was nice. It was minimal effort, medium effort, I would say. Um, but I'm out in nature and stuff like that. And anyway, I enjoyed it, and I'm thinking I might do more of that. Like I go for walks all the time. That's how I get my exercise. But I think I might do more cycling. My concern is that I'm going to get run over by somebody. I know I am. Kid said, yes, they do change over time. Just you wait. Well, I don't know. There may be. Okay, that might be true. I'm not that young. I'm of a certain age myself, and I have noticed some changes over time. Um, Things that like if I was ordering them on off of the menu, I'd send them back. I don't want these changes. Like these are bad changes. As you grow up and stuff, there's some like for guys when you first get your mustache. I don't know, like 12 years old or whatever people are. Um, when you first get your mustache, you're like, oh, I like this mustache. This is pretty cool. This is the change I want, right? Um, the older you get, you don't want some of these changes. You want to just send them back. Like it is. I creak a little bit nowadays. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's probably my diet. But I creak like joints pop and stuff like that. Um, I don't like that change. You can take that back. I don't need the nature. Take it back. It serves no evolutionary purpose. Like why there is no reason that nature has to make people pop as they get older. Like what is that about? Like what why do people pop? Yeah, I know. There's like fluid in the joints and all that stuff. I understand. Well, I don't understand the science of it, but I'm guessing at the science of it. Um, but it serves no purpose. It's dumb. Take it back. Take it all back. I don't want it. But yeah, I do that a lot. You need to stretch every day and stay flexible. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, you do that. I'm not doing that. Did I just mentioned that like I try to go for walks. I try to do the bicycling. Um, I try to stay in shape and stuff. I try to eat healthy. I do exercise. I don't do as much as I maybe can. I don't go to a gym or anything like that. I guess maybe certain people my age would do that to stay in shape. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm gonna give the bicycle thing a try because like the bicycle thing, I really enjoy being out in nature on a bike. I like that. My only concern is that, the way people drive. I have to go to like a particular place to bicycle ride, or somebody's gonna run me over. Fortunately, there are some nice bike trails around here, so it's not that bad. My problem is that I have to like I've got this little like carrying thing on the back of my car. I put the bike on that. All this effort to like load it up. By the time you get there, you don't even want to be there. I don't know if you guys have noticed how lazy I can actually be. I'm pretty late. I can be lazy, pretty lazy, or I can be lazy. All right, so I did want to use these pens. I've got these pens that are in color, and I wanted to give them a shot. I've been relying on the black here, but I wanted to get some marks in with this red pen. I don't want to just make it all colored pencil. Get some nice cross hatching in. So that's the thing about drawing with pen. If you are going to draw with pen, you can't really have like different shades. Like you can maybe like especially with the ballpoint pen, you can actually do some lighter stuff and darker stuff. But generally with pens, you want to use some sort of like um, shading technique, whereas like usually cross hatching or pointillism. I've tried to combine the two. I'm not a huge fan of that. Like for me, it's like pick one or the other. Like it doesn't seem like a dots and like I'll go and check. Maybe to like a small extent and stuff, but you don't really want to do a bunch of dots and stuff if you're also using the lines. Pick one or the other, I guess, is my advice. But then I might change that if I saw something that looked cool. But yeah, so like cool side, warm side, you guys get it. That contrast and stuff looks really cool. I know it kind of looks like her eyes bleeding. That's not the intent. I just, trying to make cool art, you know. Hmm. Running mascara or whatever. Is that mascara around the eyeliner? I don't know. Please, people younger than me, take care of yourself. Pain in further years isn't as much. Like I would love to go back in time and take some of the advice that people told me. But yes, young people, pay attention to that. Take care of your body. You only get one. I know it doesn't sound like I don't know. I try not to be that way. Like I don't know. Like I don't want to be the guy who gives advice that I rejected when I was younger. You know, like I want to give perennial advice, like advice. I mean, but taking care of your body, that is perennial advice. But also, it's like I don't want to be changing. Well, I guess it is good to kind of change your mind as you get older. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's just like I see people who are older than me and stuff, kind of like I don't know, like when it comes to like morals and stuff like that. Like some of the older people I know, they're like, "Don't do this, don't do that," and stuff like that. It's bad. It's all bad and stuff. You shouldn't be doing that. But then, like I know when they were my age, they were terrible. They were terrible people. Um, and I don't mean that. Like they're not terrible people, but you get my point. So like your parents tell you like don't do this, don't do that and stuff, but then you find out they did all that stuff when they were younger. I don't want to be hypocritical, is what I'm getting at. That has nothing to do with health though. Like always take care of yourself. I do like working with colored pencil and then coming back with the pen. This is looking pretty cool. Rum Dog says so. It looks cool too. um I had a motor roll back out of a driveway while I was about to pass. I had to slam on my brakes. He did not look. Oh yeah, you're not like watching this while you're driving. I hope not. It's like a waterfall coming out. Oh, a motorcycle. Oh, okay. You're talking about motorcycle. Okay. Yeah, it's intentionally supposed to look kind of like a waterfall. Thanks. I'm glad you noticed. You guys are really good at noticing some of the different features that I intentionally put in. That's what's great about these pens. These are nice fine point pens. I'm so happy to have found because I've had these forever. Somebody gave these to me a long time ago. I get things like that, especially like from my folks because they support what I do, and I'm always getting like, hey, here's some random art supplies and stuff like that, and it's like I've got art supplies coming out the wazoo, um, but it's always nice when they give me these things and then I forget about them and then I'm like going through my stuff and I realize like, oh, I've got this really cool set of pens and I don't remember when I got them. So I was like, did are these dried up or do they even have any ink? And I was very surprised and happy to find that they did have ink in them. And then I'm like, oh, cool. What can I draw with these colored pens? You know, and that's where we're at. You know, between that and seeing this square paper. Oh, nice break from doing horses all the time. This one's a brown color. I know that you guys aren't going to be able to see the distinction. That probably looks black to you guys. I'll skip that one. There's something that I can't really do because like things aren't that great here. Let's get this orange. This orange probably looks red to you guys. No, cool. It looks a little bit orange. All right, so there is. What are we doing on time? Oh, we're only an hour in. Cool, because I need to build another ridge up here. So again, the anatomy of the eye. There is there is the eyeball. The eyeball is actually round, okay, but you don't really see it as round. What you see is the part that's exposed by the skin. Not that one. Sorry. Um, I had an orange one. Am I holding? Oh, I'm holding the orange one. Sorry. The part that's exposed by the skin. So the part that's exposed by the skin is there's like this little slit here that can close, and obviously, like you can close your eyes. But then there's like this other little flap thing that goes over it, right? So you have the eyelid up here and the eyelid down here, but also all that muscle mass and stuff like that. And you know, some people's are more pronounced, like my eyes are more pronounced than maybe some other people. Um, but that's this thing up here, right? So like you have the eyeball, so roughly about right here, you know, you have um, this other structure, okay? And I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to draw that, so I'm going to start with the pencil and add to it like I have been, you know. I'm going to start with this pencil up here. Kind of bring that around. But yeah, and then obviously the ball inside is a ball, but it's you know, this is where you get your shapes. And you know, what's cool about drawing this way, even with colored pencils, is that you can keep things really soft. You don't have to spend a lot of effort to build up these layers. Like I know with colored pencils, it might be a little bit hard to get layers that kind of like blend together and work together and stuff like that. This is probably a nice way of doing it where you're starting with watercolor and you're kind of building it up and then finally adding like some defining lines with ink. Or not ink. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what I was saying. You build up these colors, kind of blend them together. Now the problem is because it's watercolor paper and you got these lines and stuff, you have to kind of like smooth that out. This is where I regret using colored pencils because like it's so much easier with pastels for me. But because we are using colored pencils, we're just gonna make it work. And I've got this little blending stump here. I got to get the color in between these crevices. And it's not perfect, but it does work well enough. And I actually like the texture of this paper. Most of the lines are going, it's kind of like crisscross, but most of the lines are going up, and I think that kind of adds to it a little bit. I don't know. And then if you really wanted to press down hard, you can get in there, and I think that if I do that a little bit, that kind of solves the issue. You can see full roundness of the eye. It would fall out. Yes. Yes. If the eye is completely round, it is probably laying outside of the eye, eye socket. Well, I don't know. I think there's muscles in the back that attach. I really don't know. But I think I recall there being muscles or something. I don't know. But then you also hear about people's eyes popping out. Like, I know it's kind of weird. Probably not perfect conversation for this show, but you have there are stories of people's eyes popping out of their socket. In a car accident. Hey, Huli, how's it going? Huli says, "You do great art, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you stopping by, Huli. We like Huli around here." I really need to get those books, those treasure hunting books, because I know that you guys want to chat about that while we're doing this stuff. I haven't had an opportunity to. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't done. Like I said, I haven't even seen the new episodes of Andor. That's my thing. I haven't seen The Last of Us this new season. People are talking about that. I'm missing out. I just feel like, I feel like I'm pretty far behind on pop culture right now. Um, Thunderbolts, the Marvel movie. Hearing decent things about that. That starts May the 2nd, which is like what, this weekend? Maybe. Yeah, I need to go and see that. I need to get caught up. I think I might start with Andor tonight. There's only like one or two episodes of that. I can knock that out. The tough ones are the Netflix ones, because like you want to binge all those. At least with Disney, they kind of release them once a week, and I think The Last of Us is on HBO. But yeah, so you kind of build up that structure of that secondary, not lid. Like this is part of the lid. That's the other thing about the three dimensional. So like you have, if I can get some color in there, you have this um you have this flap on the bottom and on the top, but the edge of it isn't like a straight, like just a line. You have some three dimensionality to it. A lot of people forget that when they're drawing for the first time. And like practice makes perfect and stuff. Nobody's expected to be perfect the first time around. But that's some of the things that you want to look for when you're drawing eyes and just practicing drawing eyes and getting better at drawing eyes. Is just remember that everything's three dimensional. There are like different parts to things. Um, I am going to go a bit warmer down here. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with these colors. I don't want to go too crazy down here. I just want to kind of let you know that there is some structure here. In fact, I think that's probably enough. So let me kind of blend this in a little bit. You see the texture there. It's kind of hard to see on this camera, but it is something that I kind of like for this, but I wouldn't like for every picture. This is watercolor paper. It is meant to like fill in those cracks and stuff like that. The water is. So it's not really designed for colored pencils and ink and stuff. Well, actually, the ink is working really well on it. So kudos to that. But it's not really designed for colored pencils, which, really have to get into those crevices. But we make it work. I think it looks pretty cool. Very colorful eye. I like doing colorful stuff. All right, let me we done on time. Yeah, okay on time. Yeah, perfect amount of time to like work some of this stuff in here and just make it a little bit better. It's hard to see in this lighting, but couple of lines coming away from the retina, or coming away from the pupil through the retina. I knew basic anatomy of the eye before I started drawing and stuff, but some of these things, like when I go to draw them, I have to actually look up the body parts because I don't know. But the eye, I mean, it's easy enough, I think. Yeah, the retina, pupil, lens, and so on. My dog yelping. I like when she has dreams. They get pretty worked up in their dreams. Like sometimes they are like, I don't know, running for their lives in their dreams or something like that. Freddy Krueger chasing him or something. I don't know. They're adorable though. I like watching my dog sleep. I could fill a day just watching them sleep. Like if I'm sitting on the couch while watching TV or something like that. If the dog's sitting there with me, I half the time I'm watching TV, the other half I'm watching the dogs. Really, like if you're doing color pencils on an eye and stuff, build up those layers. Like you can never go wrong, or you can never have too many layers, essentially, when it comes to eyeballs and stuff. There's so much depth. Um, it's really like, when do you want to stop rather than you should stop. Just keep going. I like to use the white pencil to kind of blend things in, kind of burnish things. There's probably other tools that you can use and stuff like that, but I like white because it's not as opaque as it should be. That's why I have this gel pen. Um, but it's really good at like kind of just making everything kind of like just flatten together. White pencils, I would keep a white pencil just for like blending colored pencils, even if I don't plan on doing any white. Hey Richard, how's it going? Wow, I see a vision of an excellent artist. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad to have you here. Just hanging out, drawing an eyeball. Basically, just kind of trying different techniques, enjoying different ways of doing things. I've been doing so many pastel pictures. It's nice to return to colored pencils and give that a shot a little bit. Yeah, I think Thunderbolts will be pretty cool. That should be out this week, May 2nd, whenever that is. When is it? I think that's this weekend, I think. I think that'd be cool. Male or female, that is the question. Hey, it's up to you. I'm not here to explain art. I'm here to create art. So I think it could go either way, really. I don't know. Anyone's guess. But no, this is pretty cool. I'm thinking I've done a couple of eyes, one in graphite, one in pastel. This this stacks up. I think this is pretty good compared to those. I do like um I do like the technique. Starting with watercolor, building up with colored pencil, and then doing some finery with pens. In fact, now that I'm pretty happy with everything, I think I'm going to return to the pen, add some more watercolor effect or waterfall effects. Hey Mia, how's it going? Yeah, so started with watercolor, um, added some colored pencils, and then I've got these really fine colored pens, and kind of going back over it with that. I'm not really using that much to blend except for a blending stump, but it did start with watercolor to begin with. So a lot of the blended effect that you see is because of the watercolor, and then just kind of blending the colored pencils into the watercolor. But beyond that, you know, it's just a lot of smudging, really. Unfortunately, I'm using colored pencils that kind of complement the ink that I have. Like this is ink here, but you get these like really fine lines and stuff from that. I think that that works really well with the colored pencils that are kind of like smudged in to create these larger fields of color. And it all just kind of works together. Um, it's mixed media, but it's one of those mixed medias where everything complements each other. You know, sometimes people use different mediums and stuff together to create contrast and create conflict and create chaos. This is where everything's just kind of working naturally together and stuff, and it's all good. It's all good. We want everything to be playing nicely together. But I do think we're just about done, but I wanted to get some more of this waterfally effect. I don't want it to look like they're crying, but a little bit of interest there. Let's see. I think I wanted to get. I'm going to smooth this out. I don't like this being a hard line. So I'm going to use this peach color. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, peach. Just kind of blend that out just a little bit so that it's not so. Yeah, that's a little bit softer. So it's just kind of making everything work together. You make it work. I use colored pencils and alcohol markers to make my blends. I don't have any like everybody's using alcohol markers and stuff. I don't have any. I need to try that sometime. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, like everybody's doing this great work with the alcohol markers, and I just haven't bit the bullet and bought those yet. I need to do that. You know, I kind of stick with some familiar mediums. But I do like to branch out and try new things and stuff. And with everybody using those alcohol markers, I kind of want to try that sometime. Love all the colors you use, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see Bear in the background. Yeah, she likes to make an appearance. She's adorable. I love my puppies. They're like stars. They know that they're stars too. Like they pop in just to let you guys know, hey, I'm here. Hey, we got Sophia in the house. Nice. How's it going, Sophia? Hopefully you're doing well. All right, I think we're pretty close to being done here. Kind of extend this side of it out just a little bit. Add a few like little red lashes in here, just to kind of break up the black. Yeah, I think this is pretty good mixture of the different mediums. watercolor, ink, colored pencils, all working together. Sort of harmonious. I like it. I think if there's any random lines here for the retinas. I do like these pens. I'm going to use these pens again. Like I said, somebody gave them to me. I don't even remember who or when. I've had them forever. I am definitely going to use these pens again. These are nice. So this is a lot of the stuff I do is pretty stylized. This is probably more on the. I mean, it's still abstract realism. It's still it is kind of stylizing some realistic objects and stuff, but also it's a little bit more on the realism side. Like this area here is pretty realistic. You right there, puppy? Puppy hawking up a lung. He does that a lot. Oh, I did want to get some. Sorry, I got all these. Like you don't even see half of it off screen. I've got like a million different pins everywhere. All right, okay. I wanted to get some and a little bit more highlights, and then we'll call it done. Every time I go to use this gel pen over the watercolor, it gets gunked up, so I have to kind of clear it. Just adding a few little like highlighted lashes over here, which kind of complement the dark eyelashes above. And then I'll add a few little like white dots and stuff just to. Yeah, I think this looks nice. So has anybody seen Andor? Because I do think that's what I'll watch after I'm done here. Like I said, the first season was great. I haven't delved into the second season. But we'll see. I think this stuff looks pretty realistic. I like that. This highlighted stuff in the eye. The human eye is so fascinating, and we are trained as people to kind of like hyper focus on these things. It's how we look at each other. The eyes are the windows to the soul. I don't know what soul we're looking at here, but it is a it is a real thing. What they say. Anyway, there you have it, guys. Realistic eye, I think, in color. Let's see, what's the chat saying? Um, that's a nice picture. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mia says I think you make cooler effects with the watercolor. Kind of went up a little bit. I assume you're talking about with the alcohol pens. I would love to try the alcohol markers. I'll get around to doing it eventually. I've got like a long list of things that I'd like to try that I don't know when I'll ever get to it and stuff. A lot of times, I don't really plan in advance what I'm going to do. I just kind of sit down and start working on it and stuff. So I do fall into like, familiar patterns and stuff. I'm trying to break those. I do want to try different stuff, but this is probably a good example of something new that I'm trying. I don't usually work with watercolor ink and colored pencils. I have, but they don't usually turn out looking like this. This is a little bit more on the realistic side. I don't know. Kid says, I think this eye looks awesome. Thank you so much. Rome Dog says, great piece. Um, yeah, Mia, I appreciate you showing up. I'm Nacho and I share my art on YouTube and I'm still learning great work. I I always recommend whenever somebody does pop in who is an artist, everybody go check out Mia Arts projects. I have checked them out myself, and I think they're awesome. Great work. Um, but yeah, everybody else, make sure you flood Mia's channel, because like, you know, people have done that for me and I appreciate it. So I always like to return the favor if I can. You know, I don't have like a ton of viewers. I don't have a ton of subscribers or anything like that. But, you know, those that are here and stuff, I do recommend for other channels as well. So check out Mia's work. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this done. Mia, I appreciate you stopping in. Don't be a stranger. Anybody else who's new, you know, this is what we do. You know, we draw a picture usually on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We hang out, we talk. I usually don't know what to talk about, but I make stuff up. And then, you know, you guys sometimes prompt some good conversations, usually about food. But it's a great crowd. Everybody in here is super nice. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this piece. I think it looks cool. You know, but I'm not the best judge of my own work. It matters if you guys think it's cool. So I'll post it up on the community channel tomorrow. You guys can check it out. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will be back on Thursday this week. So it's not just a Tuesday thing. But yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys on Thursday. Stay cool. Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Bye.